Hello, Madam President. How are you? Hello, Lucia.
Good
Hello,
morning, Babars.
I am doing well, thank you. I'm going through my notes for one last
Yes,
time
yes,
before we
please,
begin.
please. I think we are live on YouTube now. So,
Yes,
and it is
it's
exactly 2 p.m. GMT. And we see the chair of Madame Ogle. Okay. And she's a chairwoman, so it is natural. So, and maybe we can start if you like, Lucy. And
yes.
yeah.
It would be my pleasure to open up the Global Women Leaders Committee meeting today. Thank you all for joining us. I'll be back with you later on, but I will now turn the floor over to our Executive Chairman, Babars Altuntas. Thank you, Babars.
Thank you, Lucy. Madam President, dear Executive Council members, dear board members of the committee, and dear members of the committee. I'm very happy to see that almost 80% of committee members are now joining. We have 61 in the committee and 46 are joining the meeting. Thank you very much for joining. I wanted my special thanks go to Madam President Grabar Kitarovic, because she kindly accepted our invitation to lead the committee, and she confirmed her engagement with WBF's global vision on promoting gender equality. As you know, we have three main missions: easing access to finance for entrepreneurs, digital inclusion, and increasing digital inclusion, and promoting gender equality. So, Global Women Leaders Committee, Madam President, is the most important committee of our forum. And I'm thanking so much on behalf of the WBAF for accepting this important role. And I am also thanking so much to all Executive Council members for their kind acceptance to have this important role. And also to all, my thanks go to all board members and committee members for their engagement with WBAF mission. Lucy, thank you very much for carrying this role as the Secretary General of the committee. It is a very important role, and thank you very much for your efforts to make everything happen promptly. Dear Angela Grecoy, thank you very much for joining us. I now want to introduce all executive committee members one by one. And lastly, I want to present a bio video about Madam President, and then I will leave the floor to her. Dear Angela Gerekoye is the former Deputy Minister of Culture of Greece, and she is now chairing the Greek Tourism Authority. I think in COVID times, Madam Gerekoye, you are making, you are really sitting on a very important chair because lovely Greece is really deserving more and more tourists under these difficult times, I think, in pandemic times. Maria Christine Ogli, thank you very much for joining us. Madame Ogli is the Global World President of the World Women Entrepreneurs Federation in France. And she was the board member of France business people. I don't want to say businessman, but business people federation. She is an important IT personality in France. Thank you very much, Maria, for joining us. What a pity! What a pity! Madame Ogli will make its World Conference in Istanbul in November last month, and after Peru, unfortunately, Mr. COVID didn't permit you, Madame Ogli, to make it happen. And next year, hopefully. Dear Lucie, our Secretary General, she is in Canada now, but she is living in Dubai, and she is one of the few women leaders in the Middle East, who started investing in women entrepreneurs. She is also chairing the Women Entrepreneurs Network in Dubai. But her background is banking. She was an executive of an international bank, HSBC, and thank you very much for joining us, Lucy. We have two more executive council members who won't be able to join today. Marta Delgado is the deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mexico. She tried to send a video message because she has a meeting today, an international meeting in Mexico City today. But unfortunately, it is my mistake. I couldn't download the video message. When I issue it, then I will share it with you. And Swati Mandela is unfortunately in an area where internet is not possible. So Swati also extends her best wishes. You know, she was the previous president of the committee, and she is the granddaughter of Nelson Mandela, and she's a real entrepreneur in South Africa and our High Commissioner to South Africa. Now I want to say a few words about Madam President. As a matter of fact, Madam President is almost everything of Croatia. You know her from Croatia, France. The world knows you, Madam President. You are very famous in the world, and I think it really became good, and we gave a big applause to Croatia for taking this final success with France in the World Cup, because this became a very good example that it is not important what the countries are big or small or what, but the important thing is the team, and important thing is people. And when you bring 11 correct people together, then you are able to create a global success story. I think Croatia became a very good example of this, and this motivated most of the countries in the world in a very good way. So thank you very much for your leadership in this process too. I want to share a video of Madam President with you because our senator in Hong Kong, Andrew Work, worked around 10 days to prepare this video. Because 2 years ago, Madam President honored the opening ceremony of the World Congress 2019. And I want to share now the intro video of her with, yes, just a second, please. I'm trying to, yes.
It would be my.
Okay, I think it is coming now. Lucy, do you see the screen? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, from her earliest days, our next speaker knew that she wanted to represent her country to the world. She studied diplomacy in Vienna and later went to Zagreb before being called into her nation's diplomatic. Ladies and gentlemen, from her earliest days, our next speaker knew that she wanted to represent her country to the world. She studied diplomacy in Vienna and later went to Zagreb before being called into her nation's diplomatic service. She braved the frozen wastelands of Canada to represent her nation. She was later called home and then went from diplomacy into politics and once again represented her nation, becoming the Minister for European Integration and later the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Even when she stepped out of those roles, she again represented her country by becoming the ambassador to the largest economy in the world, the United States of America. She has negotiated the thorny issues in places like NATO. Ladies and gentlemen, when she returned to politics, she went on to attain the highest office in the land. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us today Her Excellency, the President of Croatia, Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović. Please.
Yes, Madam President, thank you very much again for joining WBA now as the president of this committee. And I'm leaving the floor to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Altuntaş, dear Baybars, for this very kind introduction. And first of all, I would like to greet all of my colleagues here present in this video conference, but also all of you around the world who are watching us today. It indeed is my pleasure and an honor to lead the committee. And I'm so happy that Baybars, you've called it the most important committee, because I believe it actually is to remove the inequalities that we still face in the world, but first and foremost to contribute more to the development of our societies and of our countries. Of course, my background and experience comes mostly from politics, from leading a state, from international relations and international security. But throughout my career, I have also done a lot in terms of providing for circumstances, for opportunities for women entrepreneurs. And one of the stories that I often tell is actually seeing it work in practice in countries such as Afghanistan, which is torn by war and conflict. When I was with NATO, one of the things that I did with public diplomacy is to introduce broadband internet as a means not only for communications and opening up to the world, but also of education and increased business opportunities to a number of universities across the country, but also NGOs and private businesses as well. And in introducing the infrastructure for broadband internet, we used to employ local companies. And our policy was always to employ companies where about 50% of employed are women. And as a matter of fact, there have been quite a few success stories where you provide a job or an education to a woman who is able to achieve economic empowerment and prove their equal value to other members of the family. It created a snowball effect. You know, when a father or a neighbor would see that somebody's daughter or wife earn money to buy them a new car or a new TV set, they would actually change their position in thinking about involvement of women in business. And that is, well, that brings also benefit to myself and to the whole family. So what we did see is an increased number of women who were allowed by fathers or other male members of the household who had prevented them from doing business to actually be able to earn a living, to earn money over the internet, over Facebook and other social media. And that is something that always encourages me in what I do and what I strongly believe in. So let me start this opening speech with some general remarks, and then move on to the obstacles that we still face today, to the measures that need to be taken in order to overcome those obstacles, and of course, speaking about the benefit of empowerment of women, or empowering of women entrepreneurship in order to create more jobs and to create social justice across the world. As we know, women have led a long struggle in their fight for rights and equality, and our fight continues. Some things are worth repeating time and time again. Women have achieved wonders, but we're still not there yet, especially not in some parts of the world. When you look around the room at any major international political or business gathering, when you look around the boardroom, women will still be in the minority. Although our numbers have risen in the last decades, we all must do better. Women are the often untapped power source, agents of peace and security, and agents of economic and social development. Their political participation is crucial for development, good governance, and democracy. This is particularly true for countries and societies, as I said, that find themselves in turmoil. The positive contribution of women to sustainable peace and development is irreplaceable. When given full and equal access to resources and opportunities, and when included in decision-making, women drive peace and development, and women also tend to be more inclusive, according to research, which leads to better and more inclusive solutions that will be lasting. And without women, peace is frail and development is unattainable. Gender equality is pivotal for obvious reasons. However, for the remaining skeptics and disbelievers, I will underline a few very specific and sober reasons. The economy and creation of jobs, and the development, rising standards that we all want to see. Research shows that countries with a higher share of women in executive and non-executive positions in business are more prosperous. There is a large positive impact on the GDP, a higher level of employment, increased productivity, and response to the challenges of aging populations and other demographic challenges that we're facing. At the EU level, based on still pre-COVID research, and I believe that with COVID, this also might increase, improving gender equality can lead to an increase of our common GDP anywhere from 6.1 to 9.6%. Countries where the greatest improvement are possible have a potential of GDP growth of up to 12%. It is clear best gender policies reap best economic benefits, and economically successful societies have a simple formula. They are inclusive and their women are empowered. On the other hand, lack of economic empowerment equals lack of freedom of choice. Economic dependency lead women, even in the developed world, into overall dependency, into their reduced social positions and conditions that they live in, and even an inability to escape domestic violence, for instance. Women are often underpaid in comparison to men for the same job, and unemployment is greater among women. Mobility in the labor market is often impeded by their right to have a family. In the same vein, young women of childbearing age are regarded with suspicion when applying for a job or a credit for a loan for a new startup business. The role of women entrepreneurs has changed over the years in the world. Participation and their importance have been commendable in the economic growth and development in the world. The World Development Report says that women who own businesses show great potential source of future for economic growth and job creation. Therefore, many initiatives in the world by governments, by the United Nations and other organizations, and I believe we're also the appropriate forum to discuss this, have been introduced to promote and motivate women entrepreneurship in developing and underdeveloped countries, just as in developed countries alike. The economic empowerment of women is being regarded these days as a sine qua non of progress for a country, and hence the issue of economic empowerment of women is of paramount importance to political thinkers, social scientists, reformers, and all of us who have dedicated our lives to promoting the position of women and gender equality. Women entrepreneurs are credited with their utilization of modern technology, increased investments, finding a niche in the export market, creating a sizable employment for others, and setting the trend for other women entrepreneurs. They have also recognized that we as women have been an untapped source of economic growth. So women entrepreneurs create new jobs for themselves and for others as well. They provide societies with different solutions like management, organization, and solution to business problems, as well as the exploitation of entrepreneurial opportunities. Women today are pilots, engineers, nuclear physicists, and presidents. And yet at the same time, they're mothers, they're sisters, they're caretakers of their families. If that were not enough, they often have to do better and work a lot more than men in order to succeed or to be recognized for the same work that they do. This is an immense burden. However, we continue to prove daily and time again that we can do it. Not only are we doing it, we are excelling at it, even in the most difficult of circumstances. Of course, we're not just as equipped as men to be equally represented in politics and in our organization, parliaments, and boardrooms. I believe that we are even more motivated. We often hear as an excuse that there are just not enough qualified women who can be executive directors, presidents, or board members. Or who can take managerial positions in business or government. We all know that this is simply not true. And this is why Croatia has established a quite unique database of businesswomen, which is at the disposition of the companies in order to sort of plug into this resource and to be able to promote women in their business environment. Another good example from Croatia is also the Women's Entrepreneurship Development Strategy, which has certainly contributed to the increase in number of women entrepreneurs in our country in the recent years. But, you know, when it comes to obstacles that we face, I have looked at very specific research that was done by a group of scientists in Croatia, interviewing women who are highly educated. And it has been proven that highly educated women encounter less obstacles and less discrimination at work. But nevertheless, still there are obstacles that are of social nature, such as traditional viewing of women's position in society, such as stereotyping about women's emotional oversensitivity, valuing women's appearance over our knowledge, skills, or abilities, lack of gender quotas in many companies and in many political parties and governments, lack of female role models, and this is why the work of this committee is so important. Men's beliefs that women are not as capable as men in performing the most difficult and the most outstanding positions, and women's belief, which is of course a very worrisome trend, that they are not capable as men in performing the most demanding jobs. Then there are obstacles of organizational nature, such as lack of organizational policies and programs that enable work-life balance. That is one of the primary obstacles in Croatia, for instance. Aversion to employ, train, and develop and to promote women to higher levels. Then, of course, the glass ceilings that we have all seen, and the insensibility of organization towards mothers, problems that I have already mentioned, but to young parents, I would say, in general. And then there are personal obstacles, the most important, again, being work, personal life balance, choosing the so-called women-friendly jobs and professions rather than venturing into STEM, for instance, personal decision not to be accepting higher positions in order to have enough time for the family and for personal life. Stereotyping the role of women in the own family. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. Lack of networking, which is a very important factor that especially highly trained and highly educated women note. And I believe that this is also one of the areas where we as a committee and as an organization can do a lot to provide the possibilities for women networking. In addition, of course, restricting factors for women entrepreneurs include access to finance, a lack of relevant education and experience, domestic responsibilities, and access to vocational skills and training. Then also we have the difficulties in marketing the products or the services of their startups or their companies. Especially the entry of women in the rural and isolated areas in entering the job market and in moving their micro or small size enterprises to be aggravated and to take a greater bulk of the market. But now when we speak about what women contribute, what women entrepreneurs contribute, we also distinguish between different factors, what they do for themselves, for the society, for their families, and for society overall, including their local communities and the global community. And some of the benefits, of course, include rise in the economic status, increased income, increased consumption, which also leads to a greater GDP in many countries. Having control over spending, confidence in sustaining the trend of women entrepreneurship, etc. Then thinking personally, it really contributes to one's self-worth and self-confidence, to the ability to work in groups and teams, to resolve conflict, and to achieve that freedom that a woman needs when she is not economically dependent. Also, she gets a recognition not just within the family, but also within society. And she becomes empowered and enabled to influence others as well. In terms of social status, of course, it contributes to their positive image, more gender equality, sociability, the work of the community, and what I have already mentioned, what is also very important, that due to empowerment and motivation, women entrepreneurs create employment for many more women in the community and in their own country. Now, in terms of what we must do to encourage women to get more involved and become the agents of change, before we move on to more specific recommendations later in this panel, I would just like to single out three very, very important areas. First of all, the starting point is a change of mindset. We need to build a political culture that is conducive to equal participation of women in politics, in business, in culture, in society, and overall. We need to nurture ambition and stop telling our girls that there's something that they cannot do, that there are male or female jobs or professions. Let us stop segregating boys and girls into different social roles or professions. It is upon us to change the still widespread gender stereotypes, and I absolutely refuse that they're culture-based and that lack of any rights of women is based on culture or religion. These are universal rights that pertain to all members of the global community, regardless of their gender, political, social, economic, religious, or any other background. So stereotypes are not part of one's culture or religion, and we need to remove them from school books, from TV ads, from the media, and from our social life. It is high time that societies stop using such excuses for inaction. We need to promote the role of women, but also include men in this process as active stakeholders. Secondly, to achieve this, we need to put an emphasis on education. Education is the best tool against any radical ideologies. It is the best, one of the best tools for self-empowerment. And of course, it is one of the best tools to fight these stereotypes and to allow for the conditions for the inclusion of women. The role of the media is particularly important. They need to balance their presentation of women to that equal of men, which unfortunately today is not the case in most countries. Women in business and politics, to conclude, have to endure a lot, but I have learned to deal with what I have been through and move on, and am more than ever dedicated to make it possible to allow for conditions for a much better and easier life for all of our daughters. Unfortunately, in this world, they will try to trivialize you, discourage you, and patronize you. They will find supposed flaws in you, which purportedly only pertain to women. But my message to all girls and women is, please do not listen to those arguments. Believe in yourself and do whatever is in your power to succeed. And there is more and more people in the world who will help you in that endeavor. And on the final note, I would like to close with a story that I pointed out a few years back in the United Nations. Croatia's gift to the UN and one of the symbols of the organization is that statue outside of the UN, the so-called Peace Monument by the Croatian sculptor Antun Augustincic. Most people think it's a horseman holding a globe, but it's not. It's not a man. As a matter of fact, the author on purpose put a woman on that horse as leading the world to peace and stability, because his own beliefs back in those times and they hold now today with new generations of young men who are more open to equal opportunities, is that women, when it comes to peace, stability, development, again, are more calm, more reliable in that sense, more open-minded, and more inclusive. So let us make the symbolism of this horsewoman riding that horse and leading the UN to peace. Let's make it our reality, and let's make every girl empowered enough to know that she too can hold the world in the palm of her hand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kalinda. Not only were your opening remarks highly inspirational, but they framed the work that we have to move forward in the Global Women Leaders Committee perfectly. Underrepresentation of women in business is a missed opportunity, as you mentioned, from both a social economic standpoint. Women represent the largest market opportunity and control 20 trillion in annual spending. When we invest in women, their communities, states, and countries prosper, which generates a multiplier effect and sets a positive example for the next generation of girls. I want to talk a bit very quickly about the Wbaf. The power and influence of the business and policy leaders that form the World Business Angels Investment Forum creates an opportunity to make a real and immediate change that will increase the odds for women entrepreneurs. So let's keep that in mind. Allow me now to just share my screen. We'll just go right into our agenda items for the day. I have the pleasure to introduce our board members. I will then touch on the code of conduct and also update very quickly on the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion meeting that took place earlier this year. And then we're going to dive into the action plan for 2021. And then I have a very special announcement towards the end. It's my pleasure to introduce our board members. Baybars, I wasn't quite sure, were we, as I call each name, were we going to put the ladies on, or should we just proceed? Okay, so let's start with Tina Alton, founder and president, Nations of Women, WBAF Senator, UK. I'm just going to, since I can't see everyone, I'm just going to go through and hope that you all get a chance to see the faces attached to the names. Malik Osidum, WBAF Senator, Morocco. Mulumwa Mungwa, WBAF Senator, Zambia. Asma Bashir, Chairwoman, Centura Global, WBAF Senator, UK. Barbara Dietrich, Chairwoman. Excuse me 1 minute. I'm just going to minimize this so I can see. Barbara Dietrich, Chairwoman, Diplomatic World Global Art Forum, WBAF Senator, Belgium. Daniela Arsovska, President, Macedonia Chamber of Commerce, WBAF Senator, Macedonia. Rina Neo, co-founder, Vicus Venture Capital, WBAF Senator, Malaysia. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to the committee meeting, and welcome to all our committee members and observers. We felt as an executive that it was very important to have a code of conduct. Instead, though, we're going to call this our statement of values. As you all know, we have a WBAF code of conduct already, but as we're out there with our WBAF hat on, doing the good work of the Global Women Leaders Committee, we felt it was very important that we understood what our missions and values were and the big tasks that we have at hand. We have actually formed together the Statement of Values, and we want to thank the Ethics and Compliance Committee for taking a look at those. But in the meantime, I'm very open to having 2 or 3 of you, if you don't mind emailing me, to take a look, maybe wordsmith the statements a little bit, and then afterwards, this will be given to all committee members to sign. Earlier this year, our executive chairman, Baybars Otuntas, participated in the General Assembly of the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion. At that event, the Saudi G20 presidency presented its priorities and work. There were 3 areas of focus. The one pertaining to us is empowering women through digital financial inclusion. There was a paper and a report that was put together specifically for this assembly. This report will be sent to all committee members. I ask that you please have a read of that report and take a look to see how you can engage your stakeholders within your respective countries to move ahead the recommendations. So just a heads up to expect that to come to you shortly. Now moving on to the action plans for 2021. I believe we had said in the agenda that this would be a 6-month action plan. In actuality, this will be a 1-year action plan. There's a lot of work that we have to do. We're focusing on 4 main areas: providing access to smart finance, facilitating connections by increasing access to global business networks, supporting women's entrepreneurship growth through mentorship, and amplifying success stories. Allow me to go through each point individually. As you may know, we initiated and started the WBAF Angel Investment Fund last year, and I'm very pleased to be one of the executives on the investment committee. Israel Pons is the chairman of that committee, and he has agreed, the committee has agreed also, that 50% of investments going forward from that fund will go to startups and scale-ups that have at least one female founder. This is a huge win and a big support from the investment fund. So a big thank you to Israel and the committee. Likewise, we obviously want to invite investors and networks from all around the globe with a gender lens focus to join the WBAF platform. How does this benefit us? Well, actually, it benefits the startups. So together we'll be able to give them more funding by co-investing in startups that are shortlisted from the global fundraising stage. Likewise, we want to encourage more women to become angel investors. As we know, when you have women on the other side of the table making decisions, no surprise, more money goes to female founders. How will we be doing this? We will be asking all representatives from WBAF to recommend business angels, women that are creating investment groups within their respective countries. We want you to nominate women to take the Angel Investor course and bootcamp through the WBAF school. There is no cap to how many women you can nominate, so I encourage you to please do so and nominate a lot. Facilitating connections. I mentioned earlier about the global fundraising stage. At this event, at the Congress, 100 startups and scale-ups are selected to pitch. This takes place every year in February. And again, thank you to the Startup Committee. We are committing to ensuring that 50% of the selected startups will have at least one female founder. This is fabulous because, as Kalinda mentioned earlier, part of the reason why women don't get funded is that nobody knows about their company to begin with. So the more platforms we give, the more chances they'll have to reach out and let the world know and amplify their stories. Every country has associations already, right, that are advancing women's entrepreneurship. So what we want you to do, again, as representatives from your country, to nominate 2 organizations that will work with us. And together, we will enhance partnerships and encourage information sharing. I think this will be a very powerful initiative. We will also establish an electronic library of investors, funds, programs, anything that's focused on female founders. There is a lot, and I think the database will be very useful, and the list will therefore be able to be accessed via the WBAF portal. As you can see, there are so many platforms and initiatives already within WBAF that we should be leveraging these, all of these resources at our disposal, and we already are. How do we support women? We do it also through mentorship. So we'll be creating a database in collaboration with WBAF Global Mentors Club, where female founders and entrepreneurs can be matched. We want to support this effort through an annual facilitated virtual networking event led by the WBAF Global Women Leaders. And we wish to contribute to the skills development of female entrepreneurs. How will we do that? Again, we will be asking you to nominate women entrepreneurs from your respective countries so that they will be able to take the Global Women Entrepreneurship and Business Development Certification Program. This will probably be in the form of a discount, and it's an amazing opportunity and will be highly beneficial. So again, we encourage you to nominate women from your respective countries. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, is amplifying success stories. I recently heard a fabulous story from a young entrepreneur, and she said, you know, my biggest problem, my biggest challenge is warm introductions. I have no idea who to approach. I, did not come from the same school network. Where do I even start? Where do I even begin to get an introduction? Where do I even begin to get my first press interview? So essentially, we have the World Excellence Awards. These are open to both companies and investors. This year, we encourage you to nominate again female founders, female investors that we want to recognize. And in 2021, at the Congress, we want to recognize these individuals who have made the biggest difference in 2020. We want to promote positive success stories. And again, we have two fabulous platforms. We'll be doing this through the WBAF News and the WBAF Magazine. I'm also very pleased to announce the formulation of the annual WBAF 100. This is a global list that will celebrate ambitious female sole proprietors. And essentially, we will be putting together this list. And again, it's an opportunity to ensure women get a chance to be interviewed in media and to get their first media press opportunity. This will be shared with every WBAF represented country and their media sources. So you can see there's no shortage of work that we have, no shortage of action points. So how will we deliver on all of this? This is where you all come in. So I would be asking you, if you have an interest, to please email me. We will be putting together working groups for each of the action points. If this year has taught us one thing, it's that we need to really be mindful of our commitments and to put our energies where our passions are and to not overextend ourselves. So you may find that you don't have time this year. That's fine. And there will be more than enough opportunity to be working with us going forward. I ask that you volunteer if you have the bandwidth. And please, we have a lot of really important work to do. And so we really need people that are committed and can dedicate time to these action points, because we wish to monitor the progress. And we want to produce a report, obviously, each year. So this obviously is very important to make sure that we're moving ahead our goals. And the executive committee at the Congress will update every year how we're doing, how we're measuring ourselves against each action point. So again, I look forward to getting your emails. And then very, very excited to announce Global Women Entrepreneurship Week. This is something that we hope and expect to be in the global calendar every year. It will most likely be the same week every year. For 2021, we're proposing April 5th to 9th. And as there's International Women's Day every March. Going forward, the whole world will know about Global Women Entrepreneurship Week. I asked that one representative from each country work on heading up the initiative for this coming year. Again, please email me. What would some activations look like? Honestly, it could be anything from X number of webinars or pitch events. The sky's the limit. So I really look forward to working with you on this very, very exciting initiative. I should also say that we really welcome male champions of change to join us. And again, if you have bandwidth, please don't hesitate to email. I'm now going to go back and stop sharing. And it will now be time for us to launch into our Executive Council Roundtable, focused on positioning the Wbaf Global Women Leaders Committee to empower leadership in the world. So Kalinda, I'm going to start with yourself. The female PM of Iceland recently stated, "We must ensure women's participation at the highest level of decision-making. Women world leaders have risen to the enormous challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic in admirable ways. The world has taken note, and it is our belief that we will continue to see a greater number of women elected as leaders around the world." Kalinda, when more women are making the decisions, when more women are in power, much can be accomplished. However, we need to be aware that it's taken a long time to get more women in power and elected around the world. What can be done? What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Lucy. Yes, indeed, it has taken many years, but I think that we are increasing speed and pace and that we are going in the right direction. And let me underline again how important it is to have men involved in this process. Not only do we want to share all the rights and responsibilities, but in many countries, men are still those who are lawmakers and who are setting the rules. On a general note, society is like a live organism, which needs to be fully operational in order to realize its full potential. Without real equality and genuine equal opportunities as societies, we're actually using only 50% of our capacities, about only 50% of our brains. So I believe that is also another indication, which just simply comes from nature, why we do need equality in all walks of life. I believe that expanding the network of influential women is important, as it encourages more and more women around the world to become engaged on all levels of political, economic decision-making, and in other areas as well. And I am encouraged by what I have seen in this presentation in terms of the specific measures and specific initiatives that we are going to be undertaking in the weeks and months ahead of us in order to create the conditions for that. With our involvement, showcasing and shining the light on this problem with increased visibility and awareness, we can actually become a very important part of the solution. Also, speaking on a personal note, we should remember that as mothers and as parents of boys, whom we have to raise so that they realize that they are the ones who will one day support their partners and share their family tasks with them, that they will be equal to women in that area, that they will again enjoy equal rights and responsibilities, and that they pertain to men as well, is an important part of our everyday life, but also an important part of our motivation and of our mission as those who want to be those who want to bring about change in our societies and on the global level. When it comes to more specific issues in terms of empowering women economically, and in particular women entrepreneurship and startups, we've already mentioned that there is a need for more knowledge regarding the accessibility to loans, regarding funding programs, awareness of government welfare programs, but also stimulation programs for women entrepreneurs, but also awareness of programs of different institutions, organizations, and the people who are gathered within Wbaf who want to empower women and who want to give them a head start. There is also need, of course, as I mentioned, for more education, for acquiring technical skills and support from family, from local communities, and from government. And when we speak inside of organizations, if women are part of larger organization or a larger business entity, of course, there's need to create this organization and culture that leads to gender equality in core organizational values. There is a need also to develop organizational programs that will lead to that. And mentoring is an extremely important part, but also seminars for both men and women regarding their positions within the company, inclusiveness, tolerance, etc. Supporting and sponsoring programs that empower women, both within organizations and within civil society. That can be done by private entities as well, are also quite important. And ultimately, especially when we speak about young mothers and when we speak about young parents, financial support during the period when they want to take some time off to spend that with their young ones, with their family. And in order to be able to, of course, expand their skills, their interests, and their involvement, not just within the company, but really venture into the area of self-employment and of starting their own business or a startup. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kalinda. That was a great scene setter for us to build on this topic.
Thank you.
Angela, I'm going to move to you next. As a former Deputy Minister for Culture and Tourism for Greece, please can you add your thoughts to this discussion?
Thank you so much, Lucy. Allow me first of all to say many thanks to Mr. Baibar Saltudas for this opportunity to be part of his vision and to share with you how happy, honored I am to be part of this committee with such great women leaders. Thank you all. I would like to share my thoughts with you. It's my first time that I'm here with you, and it's a time that we are really facing and dealing with the biggest problem in the world. I mean, the biggest crisis, world crisis. It seems somehow that this pandemic had made the world stop. But we can see now clearly that it is an emergency intervention for all of us, so to stop fighting with problems and start inventing solutions. So this crisis showed us the fragility of this world, and that the decision was made before COVID wasn't so sustainable, so to help us overcome more easily this crisis. Indeed, a casual look into the not so promising state of world policies and businesses, our surprising economic fragilities, and the ability for bad things to spread fast can only support the development and adoption of a crisis mindset that will help us survive and thrive in constant, maybe threatening times. This pandemic maybe is gender blind, but is not gender neutral. Women remain significantly underrepresented in local decision-making bodies across the world. It seems that we start from the beginning. It's a sensation, this. All things have slowed down our progress. The gender gap index, as you know, looks frozen with slow actions. Of course, we need strong men to support and believe in strong women. And we're very lucky here. We have a good paradigm with Mr. Babers and their partners. So let's see that women account for only a quarter in the act of political decision makers. This is a great problem. That's why we have to encourage, we should encourage, we have really worked on this with all our heart and mind to encourage women in politics. We need better opportunities in education and health and safety issues. From the other side, local and regional authorities have a crucial role to play in the achievement of these objectives, as they are key actors to ensure a well-functioning democracy and a more effective policy making. We must always find ways to mobilize several women to share their voice, because it can help a lot to shape policies for a different perspective of the workforce. Make your presence so known as a woman and collaborator for good and be confident. I think always this is the magical word. We need to send our clear message with our ideas. This pandemic has gave us a unique opportunity. We have the opportunity to have a new start, to start again with new basis. Now it's time to move forward, to support women globally in any way, to connect and to motivate gender equality for better education, of course, you mentioned before, proper compensation, equal wages, equal rights, and of course, equal opportunities in every level, especially in the level of entrepreneurship and business. This is my first few thoughts I would like to share with you, and I hope to have the opportunity next to share from other issues my thoughts as well. That's how I would like to conclude that Mr. Babes before said that really my position as a president of GNTO, Greek National Tourism Organization, and all the sector of tourism now is passing very, very difficult times, especially the Mediterranean countries, especially even Greece, that is depending from even 30% of GDPO. Can imagine how much losses we have in every area that has to do with the entrepreneurship in tourist area, in touristic area, in anyway in area of travel industry. We're facing a lot of very, very strong problems, but we're here with a lot of women that we can really give new ideas and support each other, and to go on the new era with new ideas and new strength, because we have really to be winners in this fight we're facing now.
Dear President, thank you very much. And I know you are very active, not just in Greece, but all over the world. Greek tourism office has many offices around the world. And could you please also promote the Croatian, the Turkish, the Albanian, all the regions tourism through these offices? Thank you very much for your support.
With my pleasure. This is the synergy we have to do together.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela. Babars has just widened your portfolio. I liked your statement about owning your space. That's fabulous.
Thank you for the honor.
And I am inviting all our committee members and also our audience on YouTube to spend more time in Christmas in Athens, in Zagreb, in Istanbul, in Skopje, in Tirana, in Belgrade. We are inviting. All these cities have only 50 minutes by flight. So when you come here, I think you are going to make a great Christmas time.
Make a strong team.
That's right.
Start visiting
That's
from
fabulous.
Athens. Thank you.
Fabulous. Marie-Christine, I now wish to turn over to yourself. For other women who are at the top, like yourself, what steps should they be taking to create the next generation of female leaders?
Okay, I would like first to thank Wbaf to support women entrepreneurs and all the action is doing for young people, but also young women and women entrepreneurs. Just a few words about the association I'm leading worldwide. It's a French association, and you can understand from my accent that I'm coming from France. It's an origin French association, which became a world association many years ago. It was in 57. It started in 45, but it became a world association in 57. From the early beginning, our association task was to promote businesswomen in the economy, because still today, if we exclude some exception like Christine Lagarde, it's still very few women who are sitting on the top leaders. And I really would like also to welcome Colinda in as president of this committee. I started with Wbaf end of 2018. I met Wbaf, and he invited me very quickly to another event, and also in February 2020 in Istanbul. And at that occasion, we signed a partnership agreement between FCEM and Wbaf. It can be a real synergy between the both associations, since FCEM, we are helping women entrepreneurs to develop their network, to grow their company, of course, and we also want to coach and to mentor young entrepreneurs, young women entrepreneurs, and Wbaf is helping company to grow. So it can be a real objective, working together to help the inclusion of women in the economic world. Some thoughts about how we could do that. A reflection that I take is the full meaning of this period of crisis and uncertainty that we are going through, and which is as much a source of fear as it is of opportunity. And anyway, crisis means, in the idiom in Chinese, means crisis, but also opportunity. Fears regarding the preservation of women's social and economic gains around the world. We are to be really taking care, because all the gain women had in the world, all the new attitude we could have faced up to now could be destroyed by this crisis. Because for a lot of women, it has been, or it is still, because pandemic is still there, it's very difficult moments, because if they are women entrepreneurs, they are also mother, they have also husband and family to look at, and they have twice more work than men. And when it has to be a choice, quite often it's women who are staying home. So it can be a really difficult task for the future for those women. But also it is opportunities regarding the results obtained by emblematic women in these troubled times. Indeed, in a context of crisis that is, at first glance, not very favorable for female leadership benefits from a promising alignment of the planets. When you look, you have Ursula von der Leyen President of the European Commission, Christine Lagarde at the head of European Central Bank, Kamala Harris, first Vice President of United States, and also the triumphant re-election of Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand. There are strong signals which seems to be multiplying lately to give us hope for the emergence of a new female leadership throughout the world. So we could say that we are in a favorable context to raise awareness, abolish prejudice, and pave the way of new generation, because it's new generation which are also impacted at the moment. And us as women, we really have to help them to recover and also to develop their own activity for the future. And especially in the business world, where much remain to be done, despite of undeniable, it's very difficult for me to pronounce English. Anyway, despite of sensitive progress. At a time of health crisis, women are demonstrating their know-how in the management of the pandemic. According to current data, countries in which women hold leadership position have recorded 6 times fewer deaths due to COVID-19 than the countries whose government are led by men. So it's a good example to show how women can act on life of people. It was really very well demonstrated by Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, was management of the pandemic, which she was able to halt through clear, rapid, and anticipated measures. And it was absolutely prized and contributed greatly to her re-election. Within the European Union, the tandem composed by Ursula von der Leyen and Christine Lagarde, with also support of course of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, has been a decisive factor in the adoption by the 27 of a strong stimulus measures that mark a turning point in European dogmas and solidarity within the Union. It has been billions of euros which are delivered to the different union countries. In the US, the arrival of Kamala Harris as Vice President was actions that California's Attorney General has demonstrated all her determination and competence. Also sounds like an encouragement to all those who want to get involved in political action. And we need it because don't make mistake, it's only 12% of the countries in the world are headed by a woman. And if today in France, the rule in this area is parity, we owe it largely due to the introduction of quotas. And we don't have so many, I would say, first row ministers who are women in France. In this respect, the United Nations warning that coronavirus epidemic could set back by half a century the economic progress made by women must call us to a real vigilance. And also sexist attitudes remain, whether in society or in economic world or political action. So we really need to be much more active in that field. And I'm sure together in this Women Leaders Committee set up inside Wbaf, we have all the competencies, we have all the quality, and together, it's our motto, and I like to say it each time, and certainly Lucy, you already listen it, but we say alone we are invisible, together we are invincible. So we can help the new generation because we have all the experience, we are considered as a role model, so we need to help young women to become successful entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much, Marie.
Yeah.
Perfect, because I did want to move on to action.
Yeah.
The post-COVID world is not going to be the same. It's up to all of us to ensure women fare better. How can we better problem solve, move to actionable solutions, and make a real difference? Please feel free to share specific examples and insights with us. Colinda, please, if you can start.
Thank you, Lucy. I've already talked a lot about the measures today, and they stand for this case as well, for the post-pandemic, for post-COVID world. I think that inclusion of women in businesses in the economy will be even more important, not just to maintain the standards, the living standards and the social position of every family, but also for, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, to increase the GDP, which in most countries will unfortunately be negative, the GDP growth this year. One of the consequences of the pandemic has certainly been increased digitalization. And although we have seen that online meetings cannot replace meetings in person, that it's always so much nicer to talk to someone, looking them in their eyes and sharing experience in the same room. Nevertheless, we've seen what digital technology can do, and we've seen and we will see further development of digital technology and online platforms. Now we come to the issue that I've mentioned already today, and that is STEM, and girls going into STEM, into computer technology, but also other areas of science. Unfortunately, a number of them today still think that they're reluctant to go into STEM, to choose an occupation that pertains to the STEM area, because they think that as engineers or mathematicians, physicists, computer specialists, etc., they will have a disadvantage in comparison with men, because for years and years, unfortunately, through the stereotypes that we have been reinforcing, we have also been reinforcing the fear in women to venture into the so-called male-dominated professions and male-dominated jobs. So I think one of the primary factors will also be to encourage girls to take up STEM, to move into the jobs of the 21st century, jobs that really provide opportunities for economic development and for economic benefit for both families and their own countries. I think that is one of the crucial measures. And other than that, again, whatever I have said today, demonstrate by our own example that yes, we can do it. But it's still, unfortunately, very difficult for women to make it in the business world if they do not have the support of their families, and of course, if they do not have institutional support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colinda. Ladies, I'm just conscious of time, so I'm going to ask one question more of each of you. I'm Angela, you're next. Access to finance. Access to finance is regarded as the major obstacle preventing women from starting and growing a successful enterprise. Women-led businesses start with lower levels of overall capitalization, lower ratios of debt finance, about a third of that used by male-led businesses. And we're much less likely to use private equity or venture capital. What are your thoughts around access to finance? Angela.
Thank you. Finance can be easy, but also can be very difficult, and especially these uncertain times, and especially for the women. We must consider, with all this situation, put investors in hold. Our progress have been in slow motion, and we must be really very active to catch the moment and to go forward in new tools as well. So, although I am afraid this pandemic will be followed by an economic crisis, probably worse, Some of people, they say that worse than the last great recession. And also other kind of crises, such as health-related crises, pandemics, political, financial, or other, and they all have significant effects on our economic and social life. But we must forward to new innovation, driven by restriction, and find the way to go forward. So allow me, Lucy, just to change a little bit the perspective of this question, make it like this. What makes a startup suitable to invest in? And why? I believe in this kind of periods, we have to be more flexible. The word is flexibility, more flexible, and invest in our soft skills more and reinvent ourselves. A good team can hold the game, not only a good idea. And I'm explaining what I'm thinking. From my experience as well, I have the opinion that investors do not invest only in great ideas, they invest in teams that they have good ideas. That is necessary, can really modify them and make works better. I mean, to have this flexibility and change because you know the circumstances and you face the problem and you are so creative to change, but the team is there to help to change this work. So it's now more than before important to address your idea to the international market, of course, for each country, for each woman that she's entrepreneur in her country, to have a plan with large economies of scale and to be innovative so that they can not easily copy it, the idea. It's another issue, I think we must see it. We need to develop more and more the digital skills for all of the people, but especially talking about the women. We have to encourage more women to develop digital skills. This is another big issue for each country, I think. I believe we have to see also why an investment is not working, not only why we can just not can take the profit. We must see, you know, the reason, the real reason, and to understand and to go on and to change it. So how we can really achieve this goal we're talking on? I think the word already mentioned on every one of you is education. By education, a continuous education and motivation. And that's why I'm really excited about this initiative of the Academy that Wbaf now is going on. This initiative, I think, is going to be a greatest guide, tool, really to achieve our goals as a committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Angela. And yes, you're absolutely right. We're all very excited about the Wbaf school and the opportunities globally. So Marie-Christine, moving to yourself, I recently looked at some of the criteria that Forbes used to determine its list of movers and shakers. And it was interesting. They divided power into 3 categories. So hard power, that constituted currencies, constitution, dynamic power, audiences, communities, creative influence, and then soft power. So for instance, what are leaders doing with their influence, and particularly how did they respond to the challenges in 2020? Marie-Christine, do you want to talk a bit about power?
So power, it's really a good question for women, because in different sectors, we can see what Colinda said and Angela said about women in digitalization or in numerical area or in scientific areas. Women are reluctant to go to attend this type of studies. Also in finance, women are shy to ask for money. And when they ask to get funds, when they want to grow their company, when they ask for a loan, they are always asking small amounts. At the same time, they are very keen to reimburse fastly their loans. But all that aspects are giving women some inconvenience. It's not that doesn't help them, but it's in their nature. At the same time, women are have certainly much more competencies in diplomatic area, in soft power. We are arriving at soft power. It's where they are very good at. They can, when they meet people, they will always find a way to spread their message. And their message is for sustainability, for peace, for a better world, for an economic world, but always taking into account at the same time the human resources, which has to be considered. And I will not say that men are not looking at human, but in different way. And of course, at the origin, men were hunting and women were taking care of families. It's still the case in certain countries, in certain African countries, or in certain area in South America. But having this capacity, having these competencies, women can do much more than men to develop soft power worldwide. And I think altogether in our committee, we should use it, because I'm sure we can in our own country, but also worldwide, when we travel, when we meet people, we can give messages and we can help women who are maybe too shy or don't have yet the network to do. We can help them. So I think our key message should be helping the others, showing them the way, and they should dare.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Maria Christine. Absolutely, together better. So ladies, before I open up the floor to Q&A, just very quickly, can you just give us a very quick overview of what you might be working on right now? This could be on a personal level or within your professional life. Just a quick glimpse into yourselves. Who would like to start? Maybe Kalinda, we'll go with yourself first.
Thank you. This year for me has been a year of changes, not just due to the pandemic, but I'm waiting for the pandemic to end in order to become a lot more active and to start traveling again. And as I said, meeting people and talking to everyone eye to eye. But I am getting ready to do a lot more mentoring, a lot more networking, and a lot more work with young people. Not just women, but also young people, to be able to nurture their ambitions and to help them with whatever I can. Thanks.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Angela.
My words. So this period, and from my position as president of Greek National Tourism Organization, I am very focused in developing in new travel and tourism experience. So, and we work with the other hand to motivate and to invite more women entrepreneurs to innovate in this particular area of tourism and culture industry as well. We don't forget we have the combination tourism and culture, we can go together and they have a very, very strong impact. So in this travel industry, we are facing a new era that wants to take a step forward that includes more parameters than ever, as we don't talk just for vacations, but for a total experience, especially in this during this pandemic and after post-COVID situation will be very different even for the area of tourism as well. As tourism, as you know, is really a sector that involves many different policy fields and that have to do both with central and local governments. So I strongly believe that the women, they must take this role, and they have a huge area. They're going to be a big part in this innovation. improving and developing the new era of tourism and culture in the same time. Thank you so much.
That's so fabulous, Angela. And do not forget to add other countries to your portfolio. Baybar's just added Turkey and Croatia into there.
But also France, we are a touristic country.
Absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
Marie-Christine, please, can you elaborate on what you're working on?
Yeah, Angela, I love Greece. And when I was student, I was guide in Greece during a few years. So it's a country I really love. Actually, I've been recently elected president of an aerospace cluster. And when you speak about traveling, it's quite often with plane. And we need to have, again, flights everywhere in the world, which will drive the economy of for aerospace industry. In that area, I found it's very, very few women, of course. I'm also in a numerical simulation association. We had a board yesterday. We are 24 members, 2 women. And on the steering, it's no woman at all. So it's my actual fight. It's to mentor, to help women and to go in schools, to talk to young girls, to tell them they need to do scientific studies and they need to do engineering studies, because it's a way to empower themselves and to have a career. Because most of girls are choosing literature or biology, and biology, it's scientific, but not the engineering part. And so they are not going through the standard way that men are following. They are not part of proper networks, school networks, and so on. So it's my actual fight.
That's a very worthwhile fight. Thank you so much, Marie-Christine.
And visit France, please.
I now want to open up for Q&A. I'm conscious we're 2 minutes actually over our time. So there are a few questions that have been populated in the Q&A. There is a trend and a motion, a suggestion perhaps that we create a women business development bank. And quite a few individuals seconding that. I see Baybar's making a note. There is nothing that WBAF cannot do. And so I guess, the fund was the start, but absolutely, as we know, access to finance is everything. That's all I have on that for now. But I can say perhaps that we just stay tuned, and thank you for that suggestion. There is also a question about throwing some light on action plans that will bring in more participation of women from underdeveloped countries. Thank you very much for that question. I think in terms of our 4 action points, every single action point is important for underdeveloped countries. Access to finance, the amplification of success stories. We essentially want to make sure we're building out beyond our continents, right? And this is the power of WBAF. So I again encourage you. I want to see representation from every country. Only through your voices can we really make sure we're doing the right things and we're honing in on our action points and that they're relevant for every country. I don't know if there's anyone else that wants to speak to that point.
I could speak about the helping women in underdeveloped countries. We have an action inside FCM that which could be maybe developed more thanks to WBAF funds. We are doing mentoring from certain said developed country to help emerging countries. We have an action in Madagascar with Australia and with Mauritius to help to mentor women entrepreneurs from Madagascar. Those women have they have very good products. They don't know how to sell them. At least they don't have website, and so we are doing mentoring for them. We have 50 mentors which are from around the world. So for the time, it's a kind of a prototype action, and we will develop it in the other countries later on. It's something that we are doing, but I'm sure we could do much more if we were working together with Wbaf on such projects.
Thank you so much for adding to that discussion, Marie-Christine. Baybars, I don't see any other questions right now. Should we
make closing remarks?
Yes. So in my closing, thank you all very much. This has been fabulous. In a year defined by a tremendous challenge and transformation, WBF has convened a powerful collection of innovative and visionary voices on the front lines of progress, who are rising to today's unprecedented challenges to spark major movements and re-architect a new tomorrow. Thank you to our Executive Chairman, Baybars Sotuntas, for his visionary support. I am so pleased to be on this journey with all of you. Thank you to all the executive committee members, our board members, and all the committee members and observers today. I'm now passing the floor back to our Executive Chairman, Baybars.
Thank you, Lucia. You made a great job, by the way, and congratulations for you are a multi-skilled personality. Madam President, dear Executive Council members, thank you very much for your efforts to include women in the world economy. As you see, I'm really believing in the power of women entrepreneurship. Maybe you pay attention. I always address the COVID as Mr. COVID. This includes, it is not Mrs. COVID, Miss COVID, because a woman cannot disturb the world as much as COVID does, so it cannot be a woman. So there is only one species. If you want to identify, then COVID can be Mr. This is what I am thinking. So I have some a few messages, but before moving to my message, I want to share some notes with you. On 22nd of December, next Tuesday, we are going to host the grand opening ceremony of the WBA Business School, and at 2 p.m. GMT. Until now, around 1,200 participants registered for the opening ceremony. This means we won't be able to use the Zoom system. Our technical team is now working over it. There is no problem, because we were not expecting more than 500, but it is now today 1,200. This is great. And I'm also taking so much to Madam President, because she will deliver an important course of the business school, business diplomacy for international and entrepreneurship. This is a very important course, because this course in the world first time will try to deliver the key skills for entrepreneurs to benefit from diplomacy to create more jobs, and for governments and their economy attaches in foreign affairs ministries to benefit, to attract more investment to their countries. So it is not a course for international entrepreneurs. It is a course for international entrepreneurship. It addresses to both sides of the table. I think, Madam President, your Foreign Affairs Ministry background will really become, and your presidency background will really be very important in this course for entrepreneurs. And I'm advising, and I will personally register my daughter to this course as the first participant of the course. She will be your student, Madam President. And secondly, on 27th of December, we are going to host the New Year party online in the Wbaf cafe of the business school, which will be an online party. And dear Malak knows that she is, you know, our former Secretary General of the committee, and she's from Morocco. She got in contact with the Casablanca cafe, Rick's Cafe in Casablanca, because I wanted her to get in contact with this cafe. Maybe you watched the Casablanca film. The film of Ingrid Bergman, and in the film it was Rick's Cafe, which was bringing from many nations the people together for a new future. So I think WBS Cafe, and by the way, it was all filmed in Hollywood studios. It was not filmed in Casablanca. So this Rick's Cafe was a virtual cafe. So I think now it is time to remember these things and we wanted to create a corner as Rick's Cafe, and I wanted to invite the woman entrepreneur who established the Rick's Cafe in Casablanca. But unfortunately she passed away last year, and we couldn't find an opportunity to invite her to our New Year party. But we are going to watch some parts of the Casablanca film in this New Year party, and we are also going to watch another some parts of another film, which was one of the finals film of the Cannes Film Festival, The Girl of Money. And yes, Angela Greco is not only the president of the Greek Tourism. Yes, Angela, if you join us on 27th of December, then you will watch your film. And congratulations for this success, by the way.
And nice, thank you.
And by the way, The Girl of Money is, I mean, very relevant to our capital markets, by the way, as the branding. So it will be good to watch it as angel investors, etc., together. And another not a film, but a message we are going to watch on 27th of December, the special message of Madam President Kitarovic while the speech she made in the United Nations addressing to the General Assembly. We are going to watch it because it is really carrying very important message, Madam President. Thank you very much for carrying this important message to the attention of the world. So on 27th of December, the New Year party will be very enjoyable, and I'm inviting all of you to join this party. By the way, I read in the message part that there is an I think proposal that Feryal Naz, I took note down, she wants to become the country lead of the women entrepreneurship committee, women leadership committee. I think this is a good idea. Maybe the board can discuss it, and maybe it will be good to I mean, recognize some country leads for some period of times to carry our global mission and committees works for promoting in the local countries too. I know Feryan Naz, her brother is the president of the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce International. And the company she is leading is the first listed company in Bahrain Stock Exchange. I think it will be good to develop such kind of a country lead system, but it is up to you, of course. It is, I just saw and I just wanted to share. By the way, our board member, Barbara Dietrich, is, I want to thank her so much. Why? I don't know if she's in Maldives Islands now or in Belgium. Where are you, Barbara?
I'm back in Belgium.
Belgium, but I saw
Yes.
your Instagram photos in Maldives, and she is the founder of Diplomatic World, and this is the 63rd, the latest edition, and she is kindly posting all to me every month, and on the cover, as you see, she carried the Women Leaders Committee on the cover, and there are around 20 pages dedicated in this magazine, Madam President, to the members of the committee. And I was very happy and very surprised when I saw the photos when last week when she was in Maldives Islands as the guest of the tourism ministry. The tourism ministry made this cover to the billboards of the airport in Maldives Islands, and
Yes.
this cover is there. And Barbara, I said, great. I mean, she's really carrying the WBF mission globally. Thank you very much, Barbara, for your engagement. And I think it will be also great to have your ideas for 2021 with a short speech in the party on 27th of December. And
Yes.
by the way, I see Danela Arsovska is with us. She is one of the 15 women chamber presidents in the world. Madam President, can you imagine there are only 15 women presidents of chambers? Yes, this is really, I mean, this is what we have to reconsider the importance of this woman leadership and how we can do it. Danela, thank you very much for taking this role as the Chamber of Macedonian Chamber of Commerce President. And you are also, I mean, representing, of course, women leadership. And we need, I hope you don't leave the chair until you die, because this is an important responsibility to carry this women entrepreneurship issue to global markets. And thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you.
Dear Israel Pons is with us, the president of the WBF Angel Investment Fund. Israel, in the beginning, Lucy confirmed that you approved to include more, investment to women included businesses. Congratulations. You announced last week the investment to a Spanish startup as the fund. And I don't remember now if this startup venture had any woman, founder. But I think from now on, we will see more women founders, isn't it? Do you want to say something about it?
Yes, thank you, Baybars. And just very quickly, so I don't take much time, I will skip the protocol of saying hello to everybody. I'm just so emotionally excited by being surrounded by so many women leaders. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my family. I have 5 daughters who are, I owed a lot of leadership on this world that we need to make some changes. But just very quickly, the facts. We can't keep talking about we would like to have more women in entrepreneurship. We would like to have more investments where are women led. Those are very nice words and they're great to put in on printed paper, but you have to execute and action and be firm on it. So we will invest on WBAF Angel Fund, 50% of our funds will be to women-led entrepreneurship. So startups. So the challenge is there. We have made that commitment. I thank all the committee and all the investors. And also I take an opportunity to invite more female angel investors to join us on the WBAF Angel Fund and help us really make an impact. But as I said, it's not only about having a good intention. You have to prove that you can do it. And for that, we are putting the investment behind the great women entrepreneurs that exist out there in the world in every single country. Thank you for the opportunity. And it will be great to see these startups pitching in virtually in Istanbul 2021.
Thank you, Israel. And Mulenwa was with us, but she closed her. Yeah, she is. Yes, Mulenwa. I remember the date, the day we met first in New York. Mulenwa joined JCI, the Junior Chamber International, has around 200,000 members all over the world. And JCI gave the honor to me to become the global ambassador of JCI after Mr. Ban Ki-moon. Ban Ki-moon was the Secretary General at that time, and they made a reception at the United Nations, and Mulenwa had joined this reception and joined also this ceremony. So it is a great honor for me to become the 8th global ambassador of JCI after Mr. Ban Ki-moon. And very shortly, by the way, we are going to maybe announce a very good cooperation with the Ban Ki-moon Center, which is based in Vienna now. And Mulenwa was representing Zambia in that time. And then she invited me to Zambia, to Ndola city. From Istanbul to Dubai to Lusaka to Ndola. It was a lovely trip. And Mulenwa, thank you very much for your support. Mulenwa was also the former Secretary General of the committee, the first Secretary General of the committee, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much, Mulenwa.
Thank you for having me.
And Tina is with us. Tina, I met with her in London. I was one of the senior advisors of London Stock Exchange Group. Then we organized the first QBAC Plus Qualified Angel Investor course at the London Stock Exchange 3 or 4 years ago. And Tina is one of the first graduates, by the way, of this course. And then she took me to Ghana. And thanks to her efforts, we could open the Ghana country office. And because she introduced the Business Development Minister of Ghana to me while we were in Accra. And good news is, last week, elections happened in Ghana, and the current government also re-won the elections, and we celebrated Mr. Minister for this success. And for your information, Business Development Minister of Ghana is also the WBIF chairman, Ghana. And there are many ministers, the education minister, the other ministers in the board of Ghana. If you have any need a connection for Western Africa, because Ghana is one of the biggest countries of Western Africa, I think WBF Ghana country office will be very helpful for you. So, Madam President, dear Executive Council members, dear board members, dear participants, I am extending you my best wishes from Istanbul to all corners of the world, and happy Christmas and happy New Year, and wishing you a new year, hopefully without Mr. or Mrs. COVID, whatever, but let's not pronounce COVID anymore in the 2021. Please wash your hands until vaccine comes. stay at home and keep your social distance. I think this is what I can say as the closing remarks now. And I am leaving the floor to Madam President, and then close the meeting. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Baybars, and thank you to all of you who have participated in today's meeting. Your contributions have been very valuable. I would like to thank all of those who have been watching us, and in particular sending their comments in the chat room from all over the globe, as I could see. It's been a pleasure to be part of this meeting today. It's certainly, again, an honor to be leading this committee. And let me close with a message to all the girls and women out there: be involved, network, ask for help, use all means possible that are at your disposal to promote yourself and your business. Be innovative, be active, and be brave first and foremost. We are all there for you. Thank you. And happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.